The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
How good will D'Angelo Pons be right away as a Jet rookie? Our film guru, Joe Blewett, is giddy breaking down Pons. We're going to have Joe on, and he will show you why you should be excited. That and much more. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
We sitting here, we excited as hell.
Now it's time to get to work. Are you a happy guy?
Oh my goodness, let's go!
I haven't felt joy talking about the Jets in a long time. When they announced it, I went, yeah! Jets, let's go! A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now. Here we go, Jet fans and Knick fans. I have a prize pick themed Knick lineup I will reveal in just a bit. We are presented by PrizePicks. It is indeed the Jake Asman Show. Hope everyone's having a great Monday, great weekend, of course. Like the video if you haven't. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel as well. And we say hello right now to a good friend of the show. He is the film guru for JetX and JetsXFactor.com. Joe Blewett joins us now. And Joe, before we do any film, let's talk about the fact that you were kind enough to agree to take part in the Asmaniac Speedo competition at Gangrene Beach Club in July.
How did they Photoshop that Speedo onto me?
That's a real photo. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't rock the aviators, but I love it. I love it. That's
you look like a real cop there. I got the badge, the aviators, tremendous.
A little preview. We got what, two months to go. So it'll be looking something like that. GangreneBeachClub.com if you want to see Joe and all the other content creators, reporters in person, some in Speedos, some not. Who knows? GangreneBeachClub.com. Tickets are just $25. We'll be at HQ2 in Atlantic City at Oceans Casino on that July 11th date. Joe, we'll get to the Pons film coming up, but first time I've had you on since the schedule dropped. You go to multiple games every single year. Yeah. Break down the Jets schedule. What caught your eye immediately when it came out officially Thursday night? Yeah, it seems like the Jets always have tough starts, right? Like there's never that many cupcakes early. The first, obviously, weeks 2 through 4, the NFC North is obviously going to be a little bit of a struggle potentially for the Jets, even though there's potential they can win any one of those games if you really look at it like glass half full. Packers 0-5 without Parsons, the Lions 9-8 last year. Do they continue to regress? The Bears, can they replicate the turnover differential they got last year? But still, it's a tough start to the season. I saw you catching a little bit of heat, obviously, on Twitter for the must-win thing. And I'm sure, like you've said, there's nothing as like truly a must-win as week 1, but it's a massive game, right? Like you lose that game to your former head coach with, in my opinion, a better roster than him. It's not a must win, but it puts a lot of pressure on the next few games to at least pull a 1 or 2 out of there. So in the first 8 weeks, if you can get out of there 3-5, you hope for 4-4. I think it gives you a season. But it's really that stretch that's a little bit worrisome for the Jets, especially if they can't capitalize on the Tennessee Titans in week 1. And then past that, it's the 3-game stretch of is it Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, and Patrick Mahomes. And it's right after, I believe, week 8. So you really do ideally want to get out of there 4-4 because that's a little bit of a murderer's row after it. So we'll see. We'll see what the Jets are all about. The benefit of getting the Packers early is, again, Parsons is not playing. So maybe they take advantage of it. You really look at the Packers roster. Obviously, they lost their DC. So how are they going to adjust? No Parsons there. Jordan Love is more of a, middle tier quarterback, in my opinion, and their weapons, Matthew Golden, Christian Watson, not
anything necessarily to write home about. So I see it as a possible win for the Jets, but I am nervous about that week 1. That's a huge game for Aaron Glenn and company, because Jets fans are going to be pissed quickly if they don't turn this around.
And we will be there, Jet fans. So book your flights to Nashville. Info to come on what we have planned for all the Asmaniacs making the trip. But Joe, I understand there's no such thing as a must win in week 1, but you're a diehard Jet fan. Anyone who's watching the show in mid-May right now is a diehard Jet fan. You're not watching a Jet YouTube show in mid-May for a team that's missed the playoffs longer than any team of professional sports, unless you're a diehard. Just put yourself in the shoes of how we're going to be feeling if they lose that game. Like, sure, yeah, they could come home and beat the Packers, and you just made a good case why, maybe early in the year you got a chance to win that game, but just really, like, that's what we're going to tell ourselves, like, oh, it's fine. They'll definitely beat the Packers. What if they don't? And then you're going on the road to Detroit and Chicago. You're looking at 0-4, and it's another year where the season, you couldn't even be fake good for a month. We couldn't even, survive to Columbus Day, So, again, they could lose week 1, and then, sure, they beat Green Bay. They're 1-1. Hand up, I was wrong. Credit to Glenn and the team for responding following a loss. But if you can't beat the Titans in the opening game of the year, why are we going to expect anything to be different? Because that is the typical same old Jet type of performance if you go down to Nashville week 1 and you lose to Robert Saleh.
Yeah, it's like technically they could win week 2, but based on our last decade and a half, they're probably not going to. So I 100% understand it. Like you said, I go to a lot of the games, have the feel of the Jets fans when I go there. And obviously I'm a Jets fan before I'm anything else. And I know after week 1, if they lose, I'll be pissed. Like I'm going to be really pissed. It's a huge game, as close to a must to win as you can possibly get. So I get it. Like, yeah, technically it's not, but it is. Like, I completely understand it. Again, there's a chance they could rebound and win one of the next 3 games, but based on our history, it's worrisome, right? Because you heard, Harrison Phillips. I think you asked him the question, or maybe you didn't. It was Richie. But this locker room had some cancerous players in it, and like that mindset kind of rolls over from year to year. Like, you get 1 or 2 losses in a row, the team's going to start to not buy in. It hits the Jets quick where things snowball. So one of the first 2 at the minimum to me is if week 1's not a must win, that one of the first 2 is a must win. Because I don't think you go on the road to Detroit and to Chicago at 0-2. So if you don't want to say week 1, fine. One of the first 2.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Thoughts on the schedule, Jet fans. Give us your game that you're most concerned about, the game you're the most excited about. We'll shout out some of that in the chat. We're going to do a big time D'Angelo Pond's film review coming up. But I also want to share, for those watching the show live, awesome giveaway today here on a Monday. Big prize to kick off a new week of raffle giveaways. Signed Curtis Martin helmet up for grabs for anyone who enters the raffle by gifting your fellow listener a membership to join the community or sending in a $10 super chat or higher. To qualify, $10 will get you 2 raffle entries, 20 will get you 4, so on and so forth. And a new set of weekly prizes: Garrett Wilson autographed helmet, Wayne Corbett signed end zone pylon, and last and certainly not least, a signed helmet by Breece Hall signed helmet up for grabs this week on the show as well. Joe, when you look at the schedule, now I have no issue with this, but I've heard some like Beningo going on a rant. Oh, the Jets got screwed over by the NFL, 0 primetime games. I could give a damn about primetime games. The Jets stink in primetime. They won 3 games last year. They were awful in both their primetime games. It wasn't technically a primetime game, the game they played Denver and London, but that was a standalone game where they basically pooped all over themselves in that one. The head coach did. Like, I'm totally fine with 0 primetime games. You want to stick the Jets at 1 o'clock year round? Like, I'm good with it. They got to earn the right to be in primetime. They haven't. So what are your thoughts on the lack of primetime games with the schedule?
Yeah, it kind of shows where the league thinks the Jets are, right? Obviously, one of the only 5 teams in the NFL without that primetime game. Now, maybe it's a little bit worse for the Jets. Like, hey, Titans, not necessarily the biggest market or anything like that, but to give a New York team no primetime games, it's kind of makes it a little bit even more, or it says even more, a little bit more about the Jets. But I don't mind it. Personally, it's like I work midnights, so I'm okay with them playing night games, so I don't have to come home, sleep from 9 to 12, and then wake up at 12ish and watch the game. So I like the nighttime games for where I'm at, selfishly. But yeah, no, like a lot of you've heard. I think even maybe it wasn't Harrison Phillips, but there's a lot of players who prefer 1 o'clock games. Now, obviously, if you're a good team, you want to show out to the rest of the league. But I'm okay with not getting embarrassed on national television anymore until the Jets actually earn being on national television, because typically when we are on national television or just in general. Obviously, we get embarrassed, but I don't like the entire country commenting on it. So I'm okay with the 1 o'clock games, and I'm not just automatically assuming the Jets are going to be ass. Like realistically, there's a world where they win 7, 8, maybe 9 games at the ceiling, but I'm hoping they could be respectable. But earn it first. I'm completely okay with the 1 o'clock games. Keep us in the shadows. And we only played 2 4 o'clock games, right? And it's not even not prime time. Like the Jets, there's no standalone games. There's no London games or Ireland games or whatever. So I don't mind it. Jets need to earn the right to play when everybody's watching.
Week 13 bye week as well. The latest in the history of the Jet franchise they've ever had a bye that late in the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's a good point too. When you ask the overall opinion of it, that's a little bit of a bad pull with the bye week. It seems like we've had them really early or really late. I know teams typically like to have them about week 6, 7, 8 is usually where you hear coaches want them just because of the long off season and all that stuff. So 13's a little bit late. So hopefully they can make it healthy until that point. But yeah, you'd prefer it at least 3-4 weeks earlier, but it is what it is. But like I said, those first 8 weeks, man, if you go 4-4 after that point, Chiefs, Bills, Chargers, with those 3 good quarterbacks, you pull one out of the hat there. Maybe the Dolphins game, can you actually sweep the Dolphins? I know a lot of people are just assuming that, but what's the stat, Jake? They haven't won there since Geno Smith. I don't know. Was it 13 or 14, whatever year that was? So over a decade, if people are just assuming we're going to sweep the Dolphins. But can the Jets win at least 2 division games? If not sweeping the Dolphins, can they at least be respectable in the division and not get swept like they did last year? So we'll see. It's not going to be easy. I put the over under, and I'd love to come on here and say, 10, 11 wins. Again, Jets fan first and foremost. And obviously it does better for our numbers, not worse for our numbers for the Jets to win. But I put the over under at 6.5. So maybe Jets fan optimism. I'm +1 on Vegas, but 6.5 wins. I probably predict 6 and 11 right now if I, gun to my head, but I could see 7. I could see 8 if Geno Smith recaptures some of the Seattle form and Frank Reich and Musgrave rewind the clock a little bit.
I'm right there with you. Look, at the end of the day, win games and the narrative changes and you get respect. And late in the year, games could be flexed. So we shall see. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Again, Curtis Martin signed helmet up for grabs on today's show. So make sure you enter the Asmaniac raffle for your chance to win. We are presented by PrizePicks. I promised you, Knicks fans, a PrizePicks related lineup for the game tomorrow night. Game 1, Knicks Cavs. Karl Anthony Towns been on a roll distributing the basketball, more than 4.5 assists. Josh Hart, at least 1 made 3-pointer. And Donovan Mitchell going to shoot a lot of shots. I'm going with the more on field goals attempted at 20.5. This is a $10 power play to win $37.50. Make your own picks over at PrizePicks. Download the app. Use the code HMA, and if you put in $5, you get $50 available instantly in lineups. Shout out to PrizePicks for being our presenting sponsor. Mr. Blewett, I know you're a Net fan, so you're not going to be rooting for the New York Knicks, but if they play the Thunder, you'll root for the Knicks against the Thunder because you hate the way they play basketball.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll make a boomer with that take, but the consistently drawing fouls and then preaching about accountability from SGA really frustrated me. So yeah, the flopping gets to me watching the Thunder, and I think it's unwatchable. So I'm really hoping for the Spurs, so I don't have to root against the Thunder that hard in the finals. But I do think the Knicks will take care of the Cavs, but on the other side, I legitimately have no idea. I'm not the biggest basketball buff in the world. I really don't know who I'm leaning towards, but I'm hoping the Spurs, Wembanyama minus the elbow, right, is kind of like a respected player at the NBA level, right? I haven't really heard anything about him. That's bad. So I'd like to see him get to the finals. And and sorry for the Knicks fans. Obviously, it doesn't really matter. It's my opinion from the lowly Nets, but I'd like to see the Spurs come home with one.
Joe Blewett representing all 8 Net fans out there in the tri-state area. Well done, friend. Well done. All right. D'Angelo Pons. We're going to do some film on him. You've been texting me about Pons for the last couple of weeks. That of all the film breakdowns you've done, this has been one of the more enjoyable ones that you've ever did.
Yeah. I like, in terms of value for the pick, I think this may be one of my favorite picks over the last decade and a half for the Jets, which
wow.
But realistically, like somebody asked me on my stream the other day, like, hey, since the 2020 season, what are the Jets' best value picks? And I went through all the picks. I'm like, there's really not a ton of good value, like Sherwood was, obviously Michael Carter II was, like we had like Bryce Hall for a minute who, played for a few weeks as a starter. So like, I guess that was, and Tippmann, but maybe that speaks more to the Jets, but nonetheless, regardless, I really, really like the film. And I think it's a legitimate statement that if he were to, suddenly somehow gain 2 or 3 inches before the draft, he's probably a top half of the first round type of pick.
Sign me up, because I think with Pons, we all knew that there was a lot to like with him. It was just his height and how can he overcome that at the NFL level. And as we're going to go through some clips here, I think Jet fans are going to leave this film breakdown being like, yeah, this guy can play everywhere on the field. I'm not really worried about his height. He makes up for it with everything else he brings to the table. So, all right, I'm pulling up your screen right now, Joe. So this first play here, point out Pons, because obviously he's all over the field in a lot of these clips. So you just kind of give us a feel for what we're looking at.
Yeah, a good amount of them. After like the first 3 or 4 plays, I'm going to have like an hour on them because I put a lot of these plays on Twitter. But yeah, guy inside, outside, versatile or versatility. We'll talk about the fit, I'm sure, later, and exactly where we expect him to be or where I expect him to be. Indiana's film is actually a little bit grainy at times, so I apologize that at the end of this, it's a little bit grainy, but it's not me. I'm just kind of going in chronological order here with how these plays happen throughout the season. But I have like maybe 10-ish positive plays and like 3 negatives where you can see some of the size on the outside, and it does hurt him in certain instances, but again, we'll hit on that in a little bit. So he's to the top of the screen right here, ends up getting a pass deflection. I'll try to play these plays first, and then we can watch it after or talk about it after. So to the top of the screen gets the pass deflection on the, looks like a hinge route right there, which is just like an outside stemmed curl route. And Pons does a really good job, and we're going to see this throughout the review at least a few times where he does a very good job reading the quarterback's drops, and he's a very smart player. So they're rotating in what looks like it's like a fire zone 3. So you have 3 under, 3 over the top, and Pons is one of the deep outside third corners here. But when you read the quarterback here, right, typically drops are in accordance with the route. So if it's a short drop, 3-step drop, and he's looking your way, especially because you're isolated, right? So the fact that he's isolated and his eyes are there quickly, he's obviously truly reading this route. So if it's a 3-step drop, okay, maybe it's a slant. 5-step drop, maybe more of an intermediate route like a dig. If it's a 7-step drop, we're looking at a post or vertical typically, right? Now, if it's like a double move, then maybe that's out the window, but nonetheless, isolated receiver. So he's definitely reading him to the top here. What is the drop looking like? Pons is going to gather that information while kind of having this receiver in his peripheral vision, reads the quarterback, short drop looking his way. You can see him sort of like kind of lean into the receiver a little bit even before the receiver breaks. Confirms looking at the quarterback that he goes to load up and throw the ball. We're going to see the acceleration from him to close the ground here to this receiver. And then he plays the ball very well. Unfortunately, it's a little bit like grainy and it doesn't catch it as cleanly as I want it to right there. But it's a very good job by Pons bailing, slow playing a little bit. He's not in a full sprint. Has faith in himself that if he were to try to squirt behind him a little bit right here, it's very tight ground, or it's very tight right there. So he can play in this bail. Again, looking at the quarterback, confident in himself, breaks in the ball, pass deflection. Awesome job from Pons there. And we'll get some better videos of like the pass deflection, some of the technique that he has when he's doing that. So this is another play just showing off some of the smarts of Pons. So top of the screen right here. We'll let it play out. He blows up the screen and then we'll talk about it. So changing up his leverage a little bit right there, just because of the running back coming into motion to the slot, just changing up exactly where he's going to be aligned, just showing the offense a different look, or maybe he just doesn't want to be too tight to the receiver, so he could play the flats a little bit better, regardless of whatever it is and why he changes his leverage. It's fine. Confirms with his eyes, again, doing a good job of just reading the situation, reading the quarterback. So he sees the motion into the slot right there, sees the motion into the slot. Running back immediately looking back for the ball, short drop, right? So typically, seeing the short drop, seeing the eyes, it's going to be a screen right here. So takes off, right? Outside in, tackle for loss for 2 yards from Pons here. And it's smart in another way too, not just him reading the running back and the running back and the quarterback here, but it's also smart. And just because Pons knows that he has a safety over the top right here, right? So if he doesn't have a safety over the top, and let's say this is more of like a, the safety is rotated right here to the field side, and he has the only deep coverage right here, he probably can't bite on this as hard as he does. But because he knows he has that safety behind him, he can get really aggressive here in playing the flat. Because if he were to push vertical, the safety's there to kind of clean it up for him. So situationally as well, knowing you have the help over the top, again, reading the running back, reading the short drop and the eyes of the quarterback right there to shut down the screen pass to the running back who's flexed out into the slot is excellent from Pons. So a very, very smart player, no doubt about it. So let's see, pass deflection. This is from Pons. He's in coverage right here on the receiver to the bottom of the screen, and he plays this ball about as good as you can possibly play it. And we'll go over it a little bit and like some of the technical things he does here and why it's so important, but does a really good job in soft shoe coverage right there. Now, there is some times where Pons, and this is the one thing I do think he needs to clean up and press a little bit. There is times where his hands can drop like they do right here. You don't really want your hands ever dropping below your knees. And there is times where his hands can drop and he can get his weight onto his heels a little bit. And when your weight on your heels, obviously you're not going to be leaning forward. You're not going to be able to react to quickly as movement or to movement. So opens up right here. Again, watch dropping the hands a little bit, but opens up with the receiver, gets hands on the route quickly, matches the in break, has hands on right here, and then he plays the ball again very well right here, which we'll talk about right now. So what he does here, it's important. So with his left arm, he's going to wrap the left hip of the receiver, right? So when he wraps that hip, he's going to naturally just pull the hip. And when he pulls that hip, one arm is longer than two. So when you pull with your left arm, your right arm is now longer. So that's the first thing. And obviously when he pulls this hip of the receiver, the upper body naturally follows the lower half. So you're kind of turning him away from the catch point as well. Third thing with this is how he plays the ball in terms of stabbing through the hands, right? We want to stab through the hands because that's where the ball is going to be going. And then secondarily with the stab too, it's another little nerdy thing that's important with it is you want to stab versus swipe when you're playing the ball. And why do you want to stab versus swipe? So when you stab, right, when your arm is going quite literally through it and stabbing, if you were to miss the ball, or let's say the receiver were to catch the ball, when you're stabbing through to play a ball, then your arm is naturally going to wrap up around the thigh or the hip if the ball is caught. Whereas if you swipe at the ball and you miss the ball and it's to be caught, your body is naturally going down to the ground so you can miss the tackle. And then another thing with playing the ball, stab versus swipe, is when you swipe the ball, this is kind of hard to explain without like having a football or really being able to kind of do this over a camera, but think about it, like when you swipe at something, like let's say the ball is on this, like is on a level plane. When you swipe at something, it only gives you that tenth of a second where your hand is on that vertical plane of the ball. Whereas when you stab through it, you're giving yourself a lot more time as long as your hand is at the proper plane to play the ball. So again, nerdy stuff, but it's really important how he plays the ball, stab versus swipe there. So swipe brings you down to the ground, less time or less of a window to really hit that ball. Whereas when you stab, your hand is in there longer and it naturally wraps you up for the tackle after. So really good in terms of the technique with him there. Bottom of the screen on this one, this is the last one without a arrow on him, I believe. So this one, again, you're going to see him jump split a little bit where like his hands kind of drop and his weight goes onto his heels, which I do want to see him eliminate at the NFL level. I just want to see him be a little bit more control of his feet, and we'll see how that hurts him in a little bit. But bottom of the screen, let's watch it. And we'll talk about why it's just such a good rep from him right there. What just completely locks down that receiver in man coverage. So he does an excellent job. Again, watch the hop. When you hop like this, quite literally, we do not have contact with the ground. When we don't have contact with the ground, we can't change direction, right? So I do want to see the elimination of this movement from him at times, but is able to stay square on the receiver, and that's a really important part. Shoots with the on hand, right? Which is the right hand, right? The direction the receiver is going is the on hand. So the right hand in this instance is his on hand. stab into the chest. But what we don't want to do right here is we don't want to lean into it so heavy, because receivers, obviously, if they're going to be crossing our face, I'm getting a little bit more into the intricacies this time. So if you want me to, I don't know if I should expedite, but getting a little bit more into the intricacies.
We'll enjoy this. No, this is the good stuff, man. This is what May football talk is all about.
Yeah, so when you stab with this right hand, if you're leaning really heavy into the stab with the right hand, receivers, when they're crossing your face, are obviously going to try to punch through that hand, right? So whether it be chopping through it, punching through it, wiping it away, if you put a lot of your balance into the right arm right here, again, that you should be prepared for them chopping it down. So then a lot of guys, you'll see them in this instance, they'll kind of hold their hand out there, and then they get chopped, and then they're completely off balance. But what Pons does is very important, because he goes on hand, immediately replaces it with the off hand. So just the right to the left movement right here is so important for him to stay balanced and on this route. Then grabs a shoulder pad. He can get a tiny bit grabby, and you can see a little bit at the top here where you want to get the jersey right here. He can get a little bit tuggy, but it's not called. As long as you keep your elbow somewhat like kind of tight to your body and your arm's not full extension, they won't call it. But very, very good job on hand to off hand right there, replacing the hand, staying on top of the route from Pons. These are two about mindset. I love Pons for these next two plays. I really, really do. It's what made me fall in love with this player. If you can't tell where he is, then we have issues. But Vega Ione is the left guard right here, who is about 330 pounds. Pons is 180. So there's a 180-pound weight difference. He eventually gets to the second level right here. And Pons takes this block on and actually gets involved in the tackle, taking on a guy who's 150 pounds more than him. It's just ridiculous from Pons. So again, this is a mindset thing from him, not cowering away from the block. A lot of guys will try to dodge it, try to get lateral on it, but Pons wants to play this outside in, takes on the block with good leverage. Let's see. Nice and square, good leverage, hands inside. Again, not dodging him at all. If anything, he's kind of like squeezing the gap a little bit. Is able to stand Vega up. Now, again, he's not going to consistently do this, but in this instance, he gets lower than him. He gets the hands inside. He's somewhat able to stand Vega up, get his eyes back inside, and then get involved in the tackle. And I should have clipped it for an extra second here, but Vega then hangs on his back and kind of shoves him into the ground after the play, because I don't think he's happy that a 180-pound corner just made a tackle through him. So again, just ridiculous in terms of the mindset of a player like this. And I think people saying he'll play in the slot, or kind of prognosticating he's going to play in the slot, I think it's a discredit to him as a player. But one of my reasons for wanting him to play in the slot, and I think he will play a little bit of both, is that obviously when you're in the slot, you're more involved in the run fits, and I want this guy involved in the run game for the Jets. So it's not a slight. And also, with that being said, I think he's the best in terms of value added to the team. I think the Jets have better outside corners than they do inside corners. So, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But love the mindset right there, taking on Vega, and then is able to get involved in the tackle. And then this next one, he gets absolutely mollywopped here. He gets destroyed, but it's not the point of this play. This is another one just showing straight up mindset. So some people are going to watch this, and he's to the left side of the screen right here, and be like, why the hell would you even include this? But again, it's a mindset thing from him. So the left tackle right here, again, crushes him. But I believe, and I don't know his exact weight, but he looks like he's probably 6'7", 350, 360. I think he's a mammoth of a human being. You can see how big he is compared to some of the other offensive linemen. So you're talking about nearly a 200-pound weight difference from him to Pons. And Pons, again, is not a guy who's going to dodge blocks or anything like that. And obviously, in certain instances, you want to, but he wants to play this outside in, because he doesn't want to allow the running back to get outside of him. So he's going to try to squeeze this run to the inside. Again, pursuit comes from the inside, not the outside. So takes it on with, again, the proper way. But again, gets absolutely mollywopped, and he knows it's coming. But having the balls to just stand in there and take on that block is ridiculous. You can kind of see him probably getting some shit talked to him by the Miami sideline right there, but doesn't really care, kind of laughs it off a little bit. But again, the mindset of him to do that is excellent. So love that play from Pons. I got about 5 left of the positive. Let's see.
Let's go. D'Angelo Pons film breakdown. Hit the like, people. Joe Blewett giving us content in early May. If you're joining us live, we got a great giveaway today. It's a Curtis Martin signed helmet. No one's entered during the show, and I don't like that. So I'm going to gift one right now. If you get a membership from me, you're in the Asmaniac raffle for one for the Curtis Martin signed helmet up for grabs at the end of the show. One from yours truly on the way. Let's go. Rob Damab is the recipient of the gifted membership from me. So, Rob, I'm putting you in for one. All right. D'Angelo Pons. I'm loving what I've seen so far. Joe Blewett, again, full screen. Here we go. Take it away.
Yeah. So Pons to the top of the screen right here. This is a play against Alabama. Ty Simpson's going to hit the seam right here really quickly. And in some instances, like a good play call versus a defense, you're going to get beat. On this play, the seam is weak, cover 3. So I'll show you what happens here. But just focus on the hit. And again, we'll get into a little bit more of the intricacies after, but just focus on the hit from Pons here to Ryan Williams. So again, a guy who's 180 pounds. He's not slender like Sauce Gardner or anything like that. Like, he definitely fills out his frame. So he's strong relative to his size right here. And people be like, oh, well, he was beating the seam right here. Like, why is this a good play? One, it's more so because of the hit. And two, when you talk about, again, a seam in cover 3, the problem is here, if people are saying, oh, well, he should match him quicker, he should get there quicker. Not going to be true at all, because if he was to match this quicker and bite down this really hard, quarterback is typically going to read inside out here if it's verticals. If he bites hard on this too quickly, the vertical to the outside is wide open. So he can't close down this too quickly. But once he sees Ty Simpson loading up to throw that ball, he bites down on it quickly, contests the catch point right with the hit. Now Ryan Williams, who drops everything, is actually able to hold on to the ball through this contact. But you can see he absolutely mollywops him, flat on his back right there. So again, Pons has some hit power to him, which is nice. And you're going to see that on another play where he actually forces the ball loose, but it's another one where he does a really good job. This is another one where he's in a cover 3. I believe it's a cover 3. So let's watch it first, and then we'll talk about it a little bit after. And this is obviously in the national championship game against Miami, but a similar deal where it looks like they're rotating to a 3. So we got outside third, inside third, but he's just rotating into it, staying a little bit more tight to the boundary side here because the quarterback's looking that way. But it's a similar situation where Pons is put in a little bit of a tough spot when you're that outside third, and there's a post here, post wheel. So typically, you're going to read 1 to 2 to flat right here, and he can't bite too hard on this, because if he bites too hard on this, one, obviously you're passing it off to your inside third safety, so you don't want to bite too hard on it. But if you are to bite too hard on it, then the wheel behind it's going to be wide open. So Pons does a good job of splitting the difference in this scenario, just like he did on the last play. You have to split the difference vertically, so you're not getting roasted. So splits the difference, eyes back to Carson Beck, sees that Carson Beck is obviously throws the ball or is going to throw the ball, flips his hips, gets outside, contests the catch point, shoulder to shoulder, blows up 87, and forces the incompletion there. So just excellent eyes, excellent in terms of like leveraging. This is when you hear, like, in my scouting reports, or if people do read them, like leveraging himself over route concepts. This is what I mean. This type of thing gets you the notch of, again, leveraging properly over route concepts. So perfect job splitting the middle, reading the eyes, flipping the hips, speed to get outside, hit, clean hit. It's shoulder to shoulder. There was no flag there. Absurd play from Pons. Okay, let's see. That was 28. Okay, so I got 4 more left of the good. Pons pick 6. I heard Sabo reference this one a few times in terms of, like, maybe this was a pregame type of thing where Cignetti wanted him to play it aggressively, and it could be a thing where pregame they're telling players their opponent's tendencies, which happens. Hey, this team likes to throw speed outs on first down in this situation, whatever it may be. But Pons does this stuff enough where he reads the quarterbacks and drops, that leads me to believe that this is a Pons play. Now maybe it could be Cignetti or the defensive coordinator or the defensive backs coach, but let's watch him here. But it's another situation where, just like the first play of the game, he reads the quarterback's drops. So isolated receiver side, right? And we'll talk. Let me just play it first, and we'll talk about all the little stuff he's reading in some of his keys that could get him to jump this play. So this is another one where they're rotating into a cover 3, but again, similarly to the first play, you have 4 passing threats here, right? 1 passing threat here. If he opens immediately to the side, this route is 9 times out of 10 be in accordance with the drop. So if it's a short drop, 1-step drop, 3-step drop, again, speed outs, flats, drags, that type of deal. 5-step, we're talking about intermediate routes. 7 steps, we're talking about the deep routes. So you have Pons to the bottom, again, reads the eyes. So now we confirm that he's looking our way. Now we confirm short drop. And while he's also reading this, if he is reading the receiver, we always talk about like the drive phase and selling the drive phase and when the shoulders come up, right? So when the shoulders are up, that's going to typically indicate that a break is coming. Shoulders down, okay, we're pushing vertical. Now guys can sell you different shoulder techniques to get open on you. But once he sees short drop from the quarterback and the shoulders up like they're up right now, instead of down like they are initially, see shoulders down, shoulders a little bit more up. Okay. So anticipate potentially a break coming. Short drop again. Has faith in himself. He has good leverage on the speed out that he could time this, undercut the route, acceleration, ball skills, touchdown. So he's a very smart player on top of being a very athletic player. And when you pair those two things, you're going to get pick sixes. Now, there may be a player or two where he's beat. He's a little bit flat-footed and off coverage because he's a little bit aggressive, but there's more good than bad with him playing aggressively as he does. And again, this is not a thing where, and it could be a thing again, pregame, hey, look out for this, but he does this plenty where he reads drops, he reads eyes, he knows, okay, isolated receiver, this is probably going to be a quick hitter type of play. And he processes that all within half a second, jumps it, pick 6 to start that game. And 5 seconds before that, everybody was in on Dante Moore, and then everybody's out on Dante Moore. So
it's funny. We're all watching that game for Moore, and it's Pons makes the play, first pass, and we're like, funny how it all worked out. Now Pons being a Jet.
Yeah. And again, one of the more favorite players I've watched in the last decade, legitimately. So top of the screen right here, and this is nothing crazy. This is more like that click and close in the run game and how well he plays it, right? So starts to drop back into coverage. Obviously sees the receiver working inside on a crack block and the offensive line all run blocking. So what I like here is how quickly he closes ground. Again, that more outside an angle. But once he closes ground, he does a really good job of gathering his feet and not overrunning the play. So quick to trigger on it, closes ground quickly, but runs his feet. You can see him like really run the feet really, really hot right there. See how choppy the steps are. Again, just allowing himself quick change of direction. Again, not overrunning the play, clicking and closing, outside at an angle. Runs the feet right there. Gets hands on the running back, makes a tackle by himself. Excellent in the run game. Now, NFL level, might he get dragged versus Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry at times? Yeah, obviously it's possible, but I didn't watch any plays at Indiana. I'm like, the size is a massive issue right here with him not being able to tackle guys. So 2 plays left right here. Pons top. And one thing I'll point out, and again, I don't want to get too much into the intricacies every play just because, it'd take forever. But what you notice here from Pons, and just notice it right off the jump, is how good the pre-snap stance is for him, which is important. If guys stand a little bit more straight up pre-snap, their bodies kind of overreact to movements. And that's when you see guys jump splitting, which is basically both of your feet just widening. What a lot of guys do is they teach like a kick step where either the right foot or the left foot comes out, and it's just to maintain your balance. But if you don't do that and you're high, again, you tend to lean on the heels, jump split a little bit, and then you're not able to make quick movements. So his stance is very, very good right here. Sorry, clear my throat. Yeah, but the stance is good in terms of the knee bend, and then also where his eyes are too. And it's another thing you want to look out for defensive backs. The eyes are on the hips. The eyes are not on the head. The head lies, the hips don't. So his eyes are you can tell the helmet angle, how they're nice and low onto the hips. Good snap pre-stance. We'll play it. Again, does a very good job right there. Just white on rice. Really patient feet, right? Receiver stems at him. Patient feet. Forward lean, small choppy steps, isn't overreacting to movements. Receiver obviously starts to take it vertical into the outside, gets the offhand jam on, right? Again, the right hand is away, so that's the offhand. Gets the offhand jam on. Receiver tries to use like a throw by at the top where he's going to put his left hand onto the back of Pons and push him by. So it's mutual combat here. So Pons is now going to be allowed to get a little bit more physical because he's getting thrown by. So now he grabs the shoulder pad, pulls himself back onto the route. There's little to no separation there. And then again, does a good job of playing through the hands right here. I'm doing it in slow motion, stabbing. It doesn't let me kind of drag it at the end right there, but doing a really good job of stabbing through those hands, playing that ball. So excellent play by him. Patience at the line, offhand jam, pulling himself through, physicality at the top of the break. All really good from Pons. Pons versus Sadiq. To the bottom of the screen right here, obviously you can see the matchup.
Real quick, very important. When you were going through this and you were watching Pons and now you see him against Sadiq, would you say he's a certified freak 7 days a week?
Yeah, I
was obsessed with Sadiq, certified freak, 7 days a week, certified freak. Obsessed with Sadiq, certified freak, 7 days a week, certified. Obsessed with Sadiq, 7 days a week.
7 days a week.
Certified freak.
Continue, Joe.
Yeah, so this is, you know how like people, and I think this is a good example of like, oh, he's bigger than all the safeties he's going to go against, so he's automatically going to get open on them. Or, oh, the linebackers he's against, he's faster than, so he's automatically going to get open on them. And while I like Sadiq, that the freakish athleticism stuff, when you have the technique already, right? Like you can't just rely purely on athleticism, right? Because then guys like Marquise Goodwin would be killing it, or John Ross, or Doyle Green Beckham, or whoever else it is. So those little differences in athleticism and vertical jump and in speed and ability to get out of breaks all matters when you have good technique. But when people talk about Sadiq, they tend to be like, oh, well, he's just bigger than guys, or he's stronger than guys, so he's automatically going to get open. Then he would have gotten open every time on Pons, but Pons locked him up when he was playing against Sadiq. So you have to have, again, good technique with a certified freak. So bottom of the screen right here, he locks him up. And again, it's technique needs to be first. It's 90% technical and mental, the NFL game, 10%. Obviously it's fit, there's a lot of physicality and stuff, but what separates guys is the technical stuff and the mental stuff. And you can see that with Pons' game. So good job in coverage right here, in man coverage on Sadiq. Stays square. Sadiq stems him to the outside with like a shuffle release to the outside. He doesn't kind of explode to the outside as quickly as he should. Like he's not really threatening as much as he should right there. He's not really selling vertical. It's a little bit too slow. So Pons is able to stay square, get hands on to Sadiq. Physicality, right? Staying over top of the route. We have Sadiq, who at the top of the route right here with his left hand tries to throw him off. So Pons then is allowed to react with a little bit more physicality. He does grab the shoulder or the shoulder pad, so we do have to get careful with tugging a little bit from Pons. But he's all over that route. And again, when the tight end or the receivers are going to be physical at the top of the route, we're able to respond with physicality as well for the most part. So locks up Sadiq right there. So don't just rely on like, oh, well, he's bigger, he's faster, he's automatically going to get open. There's a little bit more rawness to Sadiq's game. And I do think he'll be a little bit more of a slow burn maybe than some other people think he will. I think year 2, 3, 4 is when you're really going to see him go off. I see people like, oh, rookie of the year stuff with him. I'm not going to go there yet with Sadiq, and we'll talk about him in a few weeks probably from now. So,
hey, Joe, how often did Pons go up against Sadiq in that game? Like, was that the only time they went head to head, or there were several reps?
Yeah. So obviously, it's hard to remember exactly in that game because I watched thousands of reps, but there's at least 2 reps where Pons went up against him in man coverage. There's that one. And then when we did the Sadiq review a couple of months ago before the draft, he locked him up again. And we weren't even talking about Pons, so we even point out that it was Pons that locked him up. But there's at least 2 reps where he went against him where Sadiq didn't even get close to creating separation on him. There might have been more reps, obviously, but I watched this already like a month ago. So I transparently can't remember if there was more than 2. So let me see. This is now some of the weaknesses with him. And really, there's not a large list of weaknesses for him, like technical wise or technique wise. For size, right, is going to hurt him a little bit at times, and we'll see that a little bit in the weaknesses portion right here. But the technical part of it is more so the hands dropping and jump splitting when he's in press coverage and getting the weight on the heels. I just want to see him have more control of the feet consistently, and maybe even get hands on a little bit earlier in press. This is one you can see him get a little bit flat-footed. He's at the bottom of the screen right here against Jeremiah Smith. Obviously, the best receiver in college football this season and going into next season as well. So he's beat, but obviously versus a very good receiver. But the receivers are going to look closer to Jeremiah Smith at the NFL level. So he gets beat vertically there, and what should be a touchdown, which, by the way, for your Saiyan people, I'm not so sure. I'm loving Saiyan first round talk. I watch him, I think, more of like a second or third round guy, but that's a story for a different day.
He's got another year.
Yeah. And like, this is the thing with like Sorsby or whoever else it is. Like, you can have guys who rise like Mendoza did, or you can have guys who fell like Klubnik did, or like Nussmeier did. So Saiyan can go from a second, third round guy to a first round guy, or he can go from a second, third round guy to Garrett Nussmeier or Klubnik or whatever it may be. So with Pons right here, again, he gets a little bit too aggressive in terms of just the inactivity in the feet. Watch him backpedal. Once he gets to like the 35-yard line right there, you see how we have some inactivity, and he starts to lean forward like pretty heavily, and the feet get very inactive. And Smith just blows by him with physicality. You want to read the shoulders like we were talking about before when we're seeing guys sell the drive phase, right? Just based on what I said before, I'm not putting anybody on the spot here, but this is selling vertical, right? Like, we see how far the shoulders are down, still selling vertical. Like, look how far his body is down right here. In no way is it looking like he's going to break short right here on like a speed out or anything like that. So he is showing vertical all the way right there. Again, Pons kind of sits on the 35-yard line. Needs to stay a little bit more into his back pedal just to be able to match again, the match him vertically here. Gets pushed by, should be beat for a 60-yard touchdown, 70-yard touchdown, whatever exactly it was. But Saiyan underthrows it, but can't be as flat-footed as he is right there. So again, technique-wise, you see some of that with him being a little bit over-aggressive. But then this is where some of the size stuff comes in. And quickly, not to get like a rant or anything like that, or into big like a rabbit hole, but I think just in general, people do tend to like overrate size with receivers. No, we can't have one receiver because he's not a big guy, or oh, we need a big corner next to a small corner. Oh, he's gonna get consistently bodied because he's a smaller corner. You're not really gonna see it a ton. Like, there's not a lot of situations in the NFL where it's like, oh, small receiver on big receiver, I'm just gonna chuck the ball up. Now there is some instances where that will happen, right? Like Pons versus T. Higgins in the red zone. Okay, Bengals may dial up a fade right there, but for the most part, if you're over top of your guy or you're covering the route, they're not going to throw the ball. It's not just going to be like, oh, we'll chuck it up versus Pons every play because he's small on the outside. So I don't think you're going to see a lot of it in this situation. In terms of the size with Pons, what I am a little not concerned about, but the weaknesses is really going to come not in like jump balls and stuff, and that will hurt him. But you're going to see it more rep by rep when it comes to like, okay, top of the curl route, he's going to try to throw me by, or before a dig route, like he's going to lean into me before his break and then snap it off. I have concerns about him at the top of routes getting thrown by and pushed off more so than, oh, it's just going to be a jump ball every play versus Pons. So you're not really going to see that a ton. But here you're going to see like strictly this is size for Pons, because he actually plays this fade really, really well here from Jeremiah Smith. Unfortunately, he's just an inch or two too short and he gets beat. Obviously, it's going to be a great catch by Jeremiah Smith, but let's watch it. And again, this is where you can see some of the size stuff. But again, for the most part, it's going to be matching the physicality, not the physicality, just the size of the top of some breaks. So we'll talk about the technique in a second. And obviously a very good catch by Jeremiah Smith right there, but does a good job, right? Pre-snap stance is awesome. Eyes super low. There's no way they're on the helmet. They're on the hips right here. Nice knee bend, good shoulder width apart. So excellent job from him pre-snap right there. Does a good job of with the kick step, right? Kick step, a little bit of weight onto the heels, but he still is forward lean. So he has nice balance. Again, I like to see the hands a little bit higher. Jeremiah Smith stems it to the outside, opens up with Jeremiah Smith, gets hands on. Again, is over top of the route, is now squeezing it to the sideline, gets the eyes back to the ball. Unfortunately, and we'll see it from the other angle, he's just a little bit too short. Like, so you can see this at times. Again, if his arm was maybe, it's hard to see exactly where the ball is with the freeze frame. It might hit him like in the shoulder right here. He's just a little bit too short. But again, I don't think that's going to show up as much as some other people think it will. This is the last one. This is where you see, so we saw the size, we saw the aggression playing flat-footed and off coverage. And this is where you could see his movements with his lower half get a little bit too big in press coverage. And then you kind of tend to overreact when you're not in control of your body. So he's in off coverage right here against this receiver. Let's watch it. He gets beat on the slant. And again, I just want more control of the lower half with him. So we can see as he's in press, he kind of hops back right here and now the weight is going to be more so on the heels. Receiver stems him to the outside, and then he kind of head nods. He head nods outside, right? Head nod outside, inside to then get back outside to, and so he's dancing a little bit here, transparently, the receiver. So this is not always going to happen at the NFL level. You're not going to have that much time on a slant. But with Pons, what beats him right here is, again, just the overreaction to movement because he's not in control of his base. So big step right there with the left foot. Another big step with the right. Now he's kind of throwing himself backwards. His weight's kind of all over the place. He tries to catch the receiver. Now the receiver lands his hand into the chest and is able to throw him by the top of the route right there. And Pons is going to really get thrown by right there just because he's not balanced. Gets beat pretty badly on the slant. So I want to see less hopping of the feet and just more control, because it's not going to result in these big movements right here from Pons. Big movement, big movement. Big movement. Again, just control of the feet will thwart that a little bit, and then he'll be able to stay on routes better. But again, there's a little bit of concern with him getting thrown by like that at the NFL level because he's 180 pounds and he'll be seeing guys who are 210, 220. So that's really it for the weaknesses, though, in terms of like a list or anything like that. Like it's not it's not like a huge list of weaknesses. It's very small, the technical stuff.
So your thoughts on his role right away? Is he a week one starter on this defense?
Yeah, I do. I think he's a starter now. Where does he play exactly? It's going to be interesting to see, because I could.
You trust Aaron Glenn to know where to use him? I mean, honestly, say whatever you want about Glenn, but if he can't figure out how to use a carbon copy of himself, I mean, what can he do? Yeah, no, exactly. I'm hoping he can deploy him correctly. When he was with the Lions, obviously it's not like the best resume in the world, but he was at least he was throwing out like a good defense in his final year, obviously with a lot of injuries and stuff like that. So the arrow is kind of pointing up for Aaron Glenn. So I have at least a little bit of faith in him to use Pons correctly. Now, how exactly are they going to use him? I could see him playing outside. I truly could. Like if he plays outside this season, I see a world where he's better than Stevens, better than AZ Thomas. I think for the biggest impact on the defense, in terms of where he's just going to make the biggest impact, I'm more comfortable with the Jets' outside corners than I am with the slot corners at this point. And when you're in the slot, you can play the run game more than obviously on the outside. So you're more involved in the run fits, and he's very willing and good in the run game. So I would like to see him there. I see him eventually maybe being a guy who flexes inside and outside depending on the matchup, right? Like let's say it's a guy who's more shifty and fast on the outside. He can go and match up against him in certain weeks, but maybe not this season because it's a lot on his plate. But I could see a world where, hey, Jets are in base 4-3 or 3-4 because the other team's in 12 or 13 personnel and there is no slot. Play Pons on the outside and have Stevens on the bench. But once it's like 11 personnel, 10 personnel, anything where you're going to nickel or dime or anything like that, then put him in the slot and put Stevens back in the game or AZ Thomas back in the game. So I see him eventually doing that. Year one, I do see him playing slot, just strictly slot. But maybe there's a world he really impresses in camp and picks it up quickly because of how smart he is, and he plays outside and inside. I do see the size hurting him a little bit on the outside, maybe just not as drastically as some other people think it would. For the best impact on the team, I think it's going to be the slot. Hit the like button if you're just joining us. Curtis Martin sign helmet up for grabs at the end of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, 53 minutes in, and the only person that has entered this afternoon is Purple Belt Mike. A $10 super chat, PBM in for two. He goes, I think Pons has given us all a Woody Johnson, maybe even a Chubb for club. In your review, has Pons made a jump but missed and the wide receiver got a huge gain? Is that a risk with NFL wide receivers?
Has Pons made a jump but missed the receiver and got a huge game?
Because he jumped in the air and missed, and the receiver came down with the ball and then got a huge gain because he jumped.
No. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that. I would say more so in terms of if you're talking about the aggression, you could see him sitting a little bit flat-footed, 10 to 15 yards off at times. And then a guy will work past him with the physicality, because if you're going to sit on top of a route like that, flat-footed, you have to be very confident in being able to match the movement at the top of the route and play with physicality. Because if you're running 20 miles per hour and I'm sitting there backpedaling at 5, if I'm physical and I can attach myself to the route as you're kind of pushing past me, then fine. But the problem is Pons doesn't have that size, so it gets even more daring for him to sit on routes at times. But it's going to come with his game. He's going to get beat because he's sitting on a route a little bit at times, but then he's also going to jump a pass for a pick six. Now there's ways to read it a little bit better. Like I said, on that play with Jeremiah Smith, his shoulders were very, very down. So at that point, you really do have to anticipate the route being more so, post vertical, anything like that. But in general, it's like, again, you're going to see that so little where it's, Pons is smaller than T Higgins. Let's just throw the ball up there. Like, that's not going to happen a lot. Again, more so the size is going to be, hey, in breaker, I'm pushing off on you to the outside, and then you're going to try to match my break to the inside. It's not going to just be, hey, jump ball type stuff as much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we must address some of the blatant bleep talking going on in the chat by Sean Bennett. Sean Bennett is taking exception to you, Joe Blewett. He wrote in, Joe is that guy, that ... guy who could never play real football ... and decided to shit on everyone that could.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on Sean Bennett here saying you're that guy?
I don't know. I see Sean in different chats. So I see some people say he's a little bit of a drinker, but I see Sean like kind of gas myself up sometimes. Maybe he's in a better mood and then shit on my stuff at times. So I think it depends on maybe how many beverages he's had. But I didn't play in college or anything like that. I played in high school, but I used to break down film with Marcus Coleman, who's a corner in the NFL. And he didn't have a problem with the way I broke down corners. So take it up with him, I guess. I don't know.
Sean also wrote in this brilliant take. We ... don't know how any of these guys will actually do in the pros. We can ... hope their college accolades transition to NFL Sunday ... performance. We don't know. Brilliant, Sean. We don't know. Imagine doing a talk show if I just showed up every day and said, yeah, Jet schedule's out. We don't know. All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
No analysis. Jake, how do you like this pick? I don't know. They can work out anyway.
Anything can happen, man. We don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. He could suck or he could be great. We don't know. Why listen to the show then? Like if that's your true mindset, like we don't know anything, then what's the point of discussing it?
We don't know.
And that film review had 3 negative plays. I said that his feet can be a little bit more control, but I said overarching, really, really positive. My favorite player, or one of my favorite players I've watched in a decade and a half. So I can't bring up anything bad about him at all. Like there's nothing I could say that's negative.
You're not allowed to say that he'll be a starting corner yet.
Sorry,
Sean.
Yeah, sorry. I apologize. Joe Blewett. Yeah, so he's like I don't know if I know Sean, but I'm assuming he's like a alcoholic, 40, 50 years old, who's maybe.
Well, I'll give you a little feel for Sean. Here's the best of Sean, if you will. More of your calls right now. This guy is a loose cannon.
I'm really going to try to tone it down tonight. Psych about the yearbook for 98. Aaron Glenn.
DS.
So,
this call is going into the toilet like that football he dropped a few weeks ago. What? No, false.
This is what you do, man. I'm trying to make a good call. Then you bring up these idiotic guys. Dude, if I was in your face, you wouldn't say shit.
Frank called you an angry drunk.
And you guys want to, thrash me.
Don't take the chat overly serious. They're trying to troll you to get you riled up. Sean, stop crying. Now I will definitely tell you that to your face.
He wouldn't.
Dickie
I guarantee
says,
you wouldn't.
Yes, we would talk to you like that. Gary says they're all P words. Don't take it to heart. How about the fact that the guy that called you a midwit is coming to your defense?
Thank you, nitwit guy.
We're all now dumber for listening to this. How do you think
Jake,
this call went?
Jake, man, I like you, but you can, be problematic in my life.
3 minutes of shoving a football in a toilet was more entertaining than 10 minutes of whining.
Because you want to make me look like a dumbass, like I'm, like Beast.
Whoa.
And make me
What
feel
has
like
Beast done? Why are you taking a shot at Beast?
Because you want to make me look like a sideshow freak.
You make yourself look like a jackass. I don't have to do that.
Beast is a clown in itself.
Shut your trap. Look, Asperger.
Dude, you live with your mom.
Shut up, bitch, when I speak. 1987's calling for their glasses back.
This is what Jake wants. Jake is feeding off
you
it.
ain't
You know why? Because he's getting more lucrative
I want more
followers.
bitches like you.
I like your game, Jake.
Go change your tampons, by the way.
Did you get enough airtime today? Are you satisfied?
You're a clown, bro. You're a clown.
You just made me $2. Nate says, thanks for the Sean.
I know. You're making me seem like I'm a sideshow clown, and I'm not.
Do that on your own. I just answer your calls.
You're the ringleader.
Well, it's called the Jake Asman Show. So, yes, by the nature of the title, I am the host of the show.
If you want to talk to me one-on-one, I'll meet you on the boat.
I really don't want to talk to you one-on-one. I think the platform we have here is more than adequate.
Because you're afraid. You're scared. You little
What?
redhead bitch.
Your drunk ass calling into a talk show? I'm afraid of you? No, Sean. We'll see you later, buddy. Hope your life improves. You miserable piece of crap. So apparently Sean's not calling back in because he's too busy putting his football on the toilet again or something. This was just sent to me by Sean. If you get done with the football on the toilet, please call in.
I don't hate you, Jake.
It sounds like you do. You've been ripping me in all your comments here.
Because I'm disturbed how things went. When people drink, you know what results are.
Beastbreaker wrote in, shut up, Sean. Don't play with your tampons. Are you blaming me for your drunkenness? Yankees Rock wants to know. Have you thought about not calling into the show if the chat triggers you, Sean?
You kind of trigger me.
I trigger you?
Jake, I like you, man. It's about making money. Let's be real. I'm not stupid, Jake. Let me go back to incognito mode. I'm smart. I'm not stupid like half your audience.
This guy is a severe alcoholic.
Your problems are my problems.
My problems have nothing to do with you. So stick that 98 yearbook up your ass and stop blaming me for your problems.
My girlfriend even said, you watch so much Jake Asman, I had Jake in my dreams.
You're dreaming about me, Sean?
For real. I love you, Jake. I'm just mad at the whole life agenda.
If you called in sober, I bet they wouldn't make fun of you as much because you wouldn't be saying outlandish things.
Sober? I'm boring. Yes. Yeah, like the guy with the half.
Did you just call David T boring?
He is boring.
I think he's joyful. How dare you go after David T? Well, when it became clear that he was talking about David T, we will not stand for such a thing.
You know what, Jake?
Yes, Sean.
This is how I feel right now. Fuck you. I'm out. Bitches. Fuck you.
Anything else, Sean? Sean, my advice to you would be put the bottle down, you drunk fuck. That's who you're arguing with, Joe, so I wouldn't worry.
Well, that wasn't that. So what I got was not even bad compared to a little redheaded bitch that you got. So I could take the heat in the chat. That's fine.
Yeah.
So no, I see what the deal is. I deal with people like that quite a bit.
I'd imagine you do.
Yeah.
Can I shout out the Poon Man? Major Poonage in the house. Just gifted 5 channel memberships for the people. Let's go. Poon. 5 gifted memberships. Ladies and gentlemen, here is who got them. But first, we say this.
And here we go. Let's go.
If you've never won a Raffle prize before, this might be your best chance ever. I realize it's May, but damn, very light on entries for a signed Curtis Martin helmet. So Les Pronto, Tom G.I., Jay Sith, E.J. Schaefer, and Vegan Robles all receiving a membership there from the Poon Man, Major Poonage.
Play call is my superpower, really.
To quote Beastbreaker during that ordeal, if this guy had a brain. Stunning.
Yeah, that Beast has my back. I know that, so it makes me feel nice and cozy. So thank you, Beast.
Sean says, after I bought $400 of memberships, Jake throws me under the bus. Says a lot. I'm backing my guy, Joe Blewett, Sean. You insulted Joe Blewett's intelligence. You questioned his football acumen. And I'm going to back my guy. And then I gave you a chance to call in and articulate whatever point you're trying to make. And you haven't called in. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, I think if you can argue like a specific play, like, no, I disagree with this play or the technique or how he split the difference on that route concept, something like that, that's fine. And we can have a legitimate conversation about that. But when it's, oh, you didn't play football, that could be anything. How do you know, whatever. It's like, that's way too general. So it's not a real argument. So actually argue like the film and the technique I'm talking about, and then we can have a conversation. But I don't know if he's going to do that.
Probably not. Frank P, though, is like, I'll get in the raffle. I win a lot. Frank, you might win again. In for 10. Frank P, hit it, AG.
You always beat the narrative of same old Jets, but it's not.
But I know this. They're not the same old Jets.
Everyone wants things now. It's the instant coffee age. But at the same time, we're grinding.
Here's what I do know. I know this is an instant coffee league. I know from the media to the fans, everybody expects this, when you just start, okay, we're going to the Super Bowl. But we've all played Legos before.
We'll watch the tape.
Watch the tape.
We've all played Legos before. Nothing like it. My goodness. These are from Frank P. Jets 12200. Johnny Greenballs, that's a government name. Scott Bennett, Texas Trilogy, Chams 3981, Bobby Beasley. Wow, Beasley in the house. Sneaks McGruger, Uchin Faze Me, T Puffy, and James Jones
all receiving a gifted membership there from the Frank P. All right, we'll do some calls with Joe Blewett, and then we'll wrap this baby up. Stefan is on the line, fellow JetX team member. Hello, Stefan.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
Stefan?
Go on.
Oh, can you not hear me?
Oh, we hear you.
I'm still recovering. It was a long weekend.
What were you doing?
Celebrating my friend's bachelor party.
Oh, where'd you go?
Tampa Bay.
Nice. So are you from the New York area?
Yeah, grew up in Long Island.
Nice. You flew down to Tampa, and take us through the weekend.
Got in Thursday, got very drunk. Friday, golfed, then went out. Then Saturday, we went out on a boat. We went on a boat cruise to Sandbar, unlimited drinks, some beach volleyball in the shallows. It was a great time. Got some hot dogs, some random floating bars, which was very cool.
What about the strip clubs?
Not my thing, but unfortunately.
You're in Tampa, though. Come on. It's a bachelor party. We know what's going on.
Nah, that's not my style. That's not what my friend wanted either. He just wanted to have a great time with the boys, and that's exactly what we did.
How many people were on the bachelor party?
I think there is 12 of us in total.
So I'm supposed to believe there are 12 dudes going to Tampa, which is known for its strip clubs, and you guys didn't go to a single strip club?
Nah, but we're too busy golfing and crushing brews.
Right. And my hair is not red. All right. Sure. I'm glad you had a good time, Stefan.
No, you did. They hit the casinos, but that was me. I unfortunately had a flight at 6 a.m. on Sunday, so it was a rough one.
You sound like you're sick as a dog.
Yeah, there's a lot of yelling. I'm hoping it's allergies, so I'm not about to get any sicker. But yeah, no, I'm not feeling good. I had to call in because we're talking ponds. I love that guy. I'm liking that you see the same, Joe.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I also think I took the leap the other day saying this on a stream. I think in terms of like relative to their position, I think he's gonna be the best rookie for the Jets in 2026. So again, relative to their position, maybe not the biggest impact necessarily because Bailey getting a sack might be more impactful or whatever it may be, but all relative, I think he's gonna be the best rookie.
It's a definite possibility because I could definitely see, especially he's right. He has the opportunity to step right up and into the starting role because I'm not particularly high on Brandon Stevens. Zari Thomas has shown some stuff. Sean Wright's had obviously a solid year catching the ball, but he also let the receivers catch the ball far too much. So I think Ponch could step in legitimately be the cornerback too. Mm-hmm. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, no doubt.
Now, Stefan, let me ask you this. Have you thought about seeing a doctor potentially?
Not yet. I'm if I still feel this way tomorrow, then I'll start thinking about it. But right now, I'm just drinking water, drinking Powerade, and eating food.
Well, Dr. Beastbreaker wrote in, Stefan, have some ginger ale. Have you thought about having some ginger ale?
I haven't considered that, but I'll definitely I'll see if we have any.
Just leave a message. Just leave a message. Thank you.
Go to the store and get some ginger ale. It's not going to cost you much. Take $10 down. Go get about 2, maybe 3 things of 2 liters of ginger ale, and make sure it's Canada Dry, and make sure it's cold. It's going to help. It's helped me a couple of times, and guess what it did? It flushes out all that sickness. That's why when you get older, you got to cut the drinks down, man. You don't want to be an overhyped alcohol. You know what I'm saying? Don't be crazy.
I usually don't drink like this very often. Definitely won't be drinking for a bit after this one.
I think it's time you better consider
we all had to look ourselves in the mirror on Sunday and be like, we not have a dog in us no more. It was like, we're turning 30.
Let me give you an example, son. Wait till you get to be my age. I've seen it all, done it all, heard it all, lived it. I've had tequila plenty of times. I've had my rounds with Jack Daniels. I've had my rounds with Jim Beam. I've also had my rounds with also a good friend, Patron. Remember Patron? Don Julio?
Have a good day.
I moved away from tequila. I'm more of a bourbon guy now.
Wait. Say that you've had bourbon?
No, it's I've been moving away from tequila. I've been really enjoying bourbon.
Well, you better watch on that too. You don't want to overdo like I did at my high school graduation. 16 shots, and I was already higher than a kite. And what was I doing the next morning? Whoa, the gravity alert, man. That's what happens when you have 16. When you have 16 shots, your body will be on gravity so big that you won't even feel a thing. You'll feel like you're walking on a different planet going, whoa, man, the stars. What am I seeing, man? The stars, man.
I know I should quit when I'm ahead. I had to make an exception because
go to the store and get up, go to the store, take $10 with you, ginger ale. 3 2 liters. Don't blast all 3 of them. One at a time. One at a time.
Not 3 like you.
Who cares?
We covered a lot of ground with you there, Stephanie. You saw a real doctor.
Yeah, mechanic, doctor. He truly does do it all.
Well, Stefan, feel better, all right?
Yeah, now I'm going to rest up. Had to call in. Had to give my 2 cents on Pons, who was one of the best cornerbacks over the last 2 years. So I'm thrilled he's on our team, and I can't wait to see him on the field.
Love it, Stefan. Appreciate you. What do you think of Dr.
Jake?
Beast?
Do we buy a story that he didn't go to any
no chance
things there? No.
Tampa Bay, 12 dudes, and the highlight is they went swimming and had hot dogs. I'm supposed to believe they didn't go to any strip clubs. There's no chance.
Which is a risky combination, hot dogs and swimming. I don't know, but he said golf too. So hot dogs, swimming, golf, no strip clubs. But hey, to each their own. But yeah, 12. I'm not sure if I'm buying it or he's just doing a good job being a bro.
Here's the technicality. Maybe they had the strippers come to their Airbnb or wherever they're staying. Because you could do that.
Oh,
maybe you could do
maybe got you on technicality.
You could do the made to order strippers. They come to you.
Then maybe it's more like, yeah. Maybe you got you on a technicality.
If you got 12 guys, that's typically at some bachelor parties how it goes down. So I hear.
So if you go on a trip with Jake, you're getting in trouble. That's kind of what I'm like.
So I hear, Joe Blewett.
Okay. All right.
Peter Castro coming to your defense. Joe's a great analyst. Sean blows.
I told Peter I appreciate that. Like I said, if you wanna chop it up about like technique and scheme and stuff, like I'm so down. But the general like you suck stuff or he's an idiot or whatever, it's just why even respond to it.
Big fella says Jake was Luby made whole for Beast water heater, so he was made almost whole. I threw in some money. So the Asmaniacs raised $1,700 of $2,500 for Beast water heater. I put in a 300 to get us to an even 2,000. So Lou was not completely made whole, but he came close. So shout out to everyone who supported the Beast hot water cause because I'm blown away by the generosity of this community.
I seemingly missed something over the last week and a half or two that I was not here. But Lou B is my guy too. So maybe I got to throw $10-20 something to Lou B.
Lou's the man. He single-handedly resurrected Beast hot water. He was out. Didn't have hot water for weeks, and he also got plumbers sent over to his house to not only just install a hot water heater, but also to fix this bathtub. Beast now has a clean tub.
Yeah. I would like to say I haven't seen worse, but I have. But that is near the top.
Incredible. Shout out to Ralphie Rocks. He is in the Asmaniac raffle for 5. Ralphie, let's go. This is for you.
No, thank you.
Yes. Let's go. The following 5 people, because of Ralphie's generosity, are now channel members, and Ralphie's in our raffle, which is coming up soon, by the way. I'm not doing a full 2-hour show. We got no one on hold, and it's May, so excuse me if I don't feel like doing 2 hours on May 18th of Jets Talk. Joe Blewett just got a membership from Ralphie. How about that? Love that. Love when the guests gets gifted a membership. Denzel6489, Ken O'Brien, B8EO, also a member. Kwazami08, Kel Joseph, all receiving a gifted membership there from the great Ralphie Rocks. Comments, questions, super chats, got the line. Last chance to be a part of the show. Sean Bennett writes in, you guys love me. Come on. Sean, I'm a fan of yours, but when you come after my guy, Joe Blewett, I got to back my guy.
Yeah, I just don't get the I just don't get the support in some shows and then the hate in others. You know, I'm trying to be objective here.
New Q writes, and Jake, if Sydney Sweeney was in that tub, would you join her?
You got no choice, buddy. You got to take the leap.
This is
you'll get distracted real quick.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. You won't think about it.
So this is peak Bay Jet content.
Yeah, like I said, I have seen worse, but that's near the top for sure.
More of your calls right now, ladies and gentlemen. PBM has called in. Purple Belt Mike, as he's known as. Hit it.
Purple Belt Mike, he loves the dark night. He's got a green pool and he jumps right in. Maybe someday he'll get a brown belt, but for now he's just that Purple Belt Mike. Purple Belt Mike, it might be purple, but he can still kick your dirty ass.
Oh, fuck. Just because we're doing off-season content, Joe, what is your funniest arrest? I'd love to hear it.
Oh, yeah. I don't know about funny. I've had to. There was a guy who was butt ass naked knocking on people's doors at like 3:00 in the morning, trying to tell them about Jesus. And then we ended up chasing him down the highway butt ass naked into a trailer park, and then looking for a trailer park. And I had to go low. I had to go low on him, not too low on him, but I almost caught it in the face. So I don't know if chasing a naked guy around a trailer park at 3:00 in the morning is funny, but it was entertaining.
We had a guy in the back seat, like whatever. And then halfway through the ride, I wasn't driving, but the guy shit himself. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah, we've had that.
Terrible. Yeah,
we've had that. I've had there's been moments too where I don't even mean to laugh, but I've had EMS moving somebody, whatever, and the one lady had an adult diaper on, and the guy was trying to pull it out from under her, and then it finally gave loose and just smacked him right in the chest, just chest full of shit. And I'm trying to not laugh. It's just I've had some definitely some stories I could share. That's maybe not online either, but it's been entertaining for sure.
All right, brother. Stay safe out there, right?
Yeah, appreciate that, dude.
I like that shirt, Mike. You look very handsome today.
Oh, I'm going to my my niece, my goddaughter, it's her confirmation, and we have the dinner, so I'm leaving in 10 minutes.
Nice. It's some Italian food. What are we eating tonight?
Of course. Always is.
Love it. Enjoy.
Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, Purple Belt Mike. Continue with your calls right now. There's a man's man on the line who wants in on today's discussion.
What do you need? I'm not in a good mood today. I already took a diarrhea dump, and my back's killing me. Does anybody else need anything? What am I doing? Backstroking. After a $5 chicken meal with some rice and some noodle action, that's how you eat a man's meal. Mr. Blewett. Let's look at the numbers. That big guy that I saw there, that 360-pound guy, that guy can eat a whole meal to himself. Let me just say this. He would have took in the whole defensive line, counted on his back, and just went. Take 3 of those hammers, and you'd be going.
Hey, show us a little breaststroke.
You mean that?
No, that's backstroke. Give us a little breast or a little butterfly.
Yeah, well, I like that, and I don't mind just a little. There we go. There you go.
Tell us more about this chicken meal you had. $5 chicken meal from where?
Where else? The man store called Costco.
Do you have a Costco card?
Sorry, it's somewhere. I already went there today. Got my, chicken, fresh butter, fresh Sara Lee white bread for a good price, even some good olive oil, good 3 thing of olive oil, beautiful price, beautiful. That's why if you want good quality, you go to Costco. Why? Because if you learn how to spend money wisely, learn this. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. It's called use your head, not your ass. And to Mr. Drunk Man, please stop drinking. Drinking does not make you a man. Drinking makes you an idiot. Sure, it might have been great in college and high school and all that. That's great. But you got to look at life. Put the drinks down. Enjoy life.
Hey, how long can you hold your breath underwater?
Not too long. Not like I used to, because these right here got sensitive hearing.
Really?
Water gets into my ears real fast. I know that from experience, and I've known that for quite some time. So that's why I take safety precautions. Do it with safety. Always remember, if you don't learn safety and you don't learn this stuff in health class, you ain't got nothing in life. You're
When
just
was the last time you went for a swim?
It's been a while. Well, don't worry. The time will tell when the time is right. We're going to enjoy this time because what's coming up in a few days, Memorial Day weekend. I'm ready for it. I'm definitely ready for it. Some barbecue chicken, some ribs, maybe kick on back, have a salad, and then maybe get a jug of water. A nice 2 liter of whatever water I can have. It might be Ice Mountain. It might be whatever I get. Maybe Kirkland. Hey, what you see is what you get. Remember, put that as a T-shirt slogan. What you see is what you get.
Joe, another tremendous film breakdown with you today and everything else that ensued after.
Yeah, I appreciate how much Beast can appreciate a $5 bowl of chicken, rice, and noodles. So his love for food knows no bounds. But yeah, Pons this week, and then whatever else, we'll figure it out. Sadiq and Bailey and Cooper Jr. and all these other guys coming up. So I appreciate everybody, but Sean, even though I know you'll bounce back, Sean, it's okay.
Here's another player I want to throw on your radar, Brendan Sorsby, because we got some news today that he could be going to the supplemental draft. We'll see. Still some things that got to be sorted out, but at some point, if he's an option, we need the Joe Blewett QB breakdown on Sorsby.
I knew it was coming. I had a bad feeling that it was going to come. But yeah, once we confirm, because this will be my 8th quarterback done this year, and quarterbacks take so much work, and it's such a pain in the ass. But yeah, if he's going into the supplemental draft, we'll take a peek behind the curtain. I'm kind of sitting, like I said, at like a 4th right now, and I know that's different from some other people, but I just don't see the timeline matching up with the Jets, but we'll see. I don't see a way that he plays in in collegiate or college football next year, right? Like, how is he going to go back after that happened?
I don't really see what his legal case is, because he clearly violated the NCAA rules by gambling when he was in college. He gambled on his team when he was on Indiana before he transferred to Cincinnati. He really bet on Indiana to win. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah. Again, the timeline's sketchy. He's a little bit raw, playing in a smaller conference. You also have the suspension. What's the suspension going to be? And then past that, it's a concern of, like, if he relapses or he's caught gambling again on the NFL or whatever, is he going to be suspended for life? So I think it's a little bit more risky than some people realize it. So I'm not so far in on Sorsby right now.
Yeah, it's a weird one, but somehow the Jets will be involved. So we'll get your thoughts on it at some point.
All right. I'll talk to you next week, Jake.
Joe, you're the man. Thanks for coming on. Joe Blewett with us there. Great stuff from Joe. Hit the like button if you guys are just tuning in. Rewind for the full D'Angelo Pons breakdown. Sean Bennett says, I don't hate Blewett. I respect the hours he puts in, just not a 100% fan. How are your hamstrings, Sean? They must hurt from that back pedal. We go from this super chat to Sean's original comment on your screen. Funny how that works. All right, I'm counting raffle names. Last chance if you want in on the conversation. Like the video and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Join the Patreon if you haven't. You get bonus shows. You get access to our Discord. You'll find out about exclusive events. You'll have first come, first serve on our group ticket buy for the Jets-Dolphins game on October 25th. We're in the early stages of putting that one together for the Asmaniacs for this year's home game meetup. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. And I want to shout out the following listeners: Colin Warford, Robin Boy Wonders, Scott Piazza, Edward Morales, Gangrene Blood, Ro Delgado, Joseph M., and Brandon Batts for being our most recent Patreon subscribers. The Human Fund checking in. What's up to the Human Fund? He is in the Asmaniac raffle for one. Human Fund's membership went to listener Jeff Reichen Becker, receiving a gifted membership there from the Human Fund. Thank you, as always, to our guy Human Fun out in LA for the support. Today's closer is a man that is revered and respected in this community. Ladies and gentlemen, it's closing time with the one, the only, the Kyle Clifton.
I really don't have much, but I figured you were lonely. It's mid-May.
I appreciate you having on.
Yeah. So listen, my only you got to appreciate what Joe does. I mean, it takes a lot of chutzpah to put yourself out there and try and break down this tape. You're going to have people coming at you, people with varying degrees of knowledge. From Sean to your peers, like people that you respect. So my take on Pons is that he's too small. That's it.
It's a hell of a take.
Yeah,
good thing he jumps high.
Yeah, I mean, like you've met me before. I'm like, how is this guy going to cover? The larger receivers in the league. But he's gonna be used to his greatest effect, right? Like, that's why Joe thinks he's going to be inside, because that's where he'll have the greatest impact and he can play most often. And he was talking about his impact against the run, because for pound, that guy is a missile. He's a tackler. But there will be times where he can go outside against guys that are, not your 6'4", 6'5" guys and shut them down, because he's shown that he can do that before. Yeah, it's a good value pick there at 50. It's exactly the kind of player that you should be taking off the board at that point. I'm glad. I think we're a better team for having him on the team. I'm going to look tonight and see if I can finalize the stuff with Atlantic City.
Wow. Are we going to get Kyle Clifton at Gangrene Beach Club, folks?
Yeah. I mean, it's. I got to get in your ear earlier. I would have much rather had this out in Rockaway Beach, but I think that for an event like this with all the content creators and all the beat guys and all the Asmaniacs, that I have to make it out there. And as far as Sorsby goes, every time I come back to this issue, I feel like I drop around in what I'd be willing to give up to get him. Did you see some of the stuff that he tried to convince the NCAA that it was a 2-game suspension and that he would help them work with other players about gambling? He tried to dictate his own punishment.
I was just reading about that before the show. I didn't get to do the full, recap on all that. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that's going to work.
No, I don't think so either. But, to me, I understand that, and what he's saying is true. Like, he's losing valuable reps and where he could be playing in NCAA. But at this point, man, you messed up. Just make sure that you can file and get in the supplemental draft and see if you can develop on the NFL roster, because NCAA, that ain't happening, man. He'd have to get an injunction, and that I think someone was saying the injunction means that you'd have to have a demonstrable case of winning your suit or whatever, and the rules are so crystal clear that it's not even something that enters the conversation.
Well, did you see part of his excuse too? I'm just reading up on it as you're talking here. He rationalized placing the bets when he was at Indiana as a way to feel more connected to the team, to root for my friends, and to feel like I had a real stake in the games that I otherwise was not involved in.
just shut up and get in the supplemental draft and get on a roster and get with the coach here.
Yeah,
Like,
he's not winning an appeal. This is the best they could come up with for him betting when he was on Indiana, betting on Indiana. And then he later added, because the Indiana football team was not a very strong competitor in 2022, I lost most of the bets I placed. That's hilarious.
well, teams aren't going to want to hear that kind of rationalization. Like they want to hear, I fucked up. I want to move past it. I want to get on with my career. That's it.
I've learned from it. Well, that's what he'll say if he goes to the supplemental draft.
Yeah. All right, Jake. I'll talk to you soon, man.
Kyle, excellent call. Great job by the Kyle Clifton. This is this is not going to work. That's why I bet on the Jets. You know, I want to feel more connected to them. Like, come on. That's a tough sell. That's a tough sell. I don't think he's going to win his appeal. So if he's in the supplemental draft, the Jets will have to figure out, is he worth it? Ladies and gentlemen, we have not heard from this guy in a while. Hope he's doing well. Felix Campos in the house. He just gifted 5 channel memberships.
Felix Campos, he wonderful, wonderful guy. He gives a lot of gift memberships and loves the Jake Asman show. Take the money.
Here we go. These are from Felix, or as Bobby Midnight would say, Felix the Cat, Mason J02, Matt Borano, Jetted Out, Sam Son IV, and Fish-Eyed Fool 9219, all receiving a gifted membership there from the Felix Campos. What's up, Felix? Hope you're doing well. Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. I am counting the raffle names for the Wheel of Champions. We have ourselves a big-time prize, if I do say so myself. It is a signed helmet by Jets legend Curtis Martin.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Number 28, retired by the New York Jets, one of the few retired numbers in franchise history. Sean Bennett is back. He became a channel member. Sean, you're in the raffle for 1. I appreciate you, Sean. Next time Joe Blewett's on, we'll put you 2 on screen together. We'll sing Kumbaya, and we'll make things right. So that's what it's all about. Sean in for 1. Thank you, Sean. Big fella says, Jake, can you play the song from the Tampa meetup? It's been in my head all day. If I could find it for you, big fella, I could try and end the show with that. It is a members only video. If you just go on my YouTube, though, and you type in like Tampa recap or something Tampa Bay, you'll be able to get it. All right. I am finalizing the names here. Stand by. Hey, Sean Bennett, a make good from Sean. He wants the community back on his side. 5 gifted memberships from the Sean Bennett. Sean, thank you. You're in for 5. You already had 1. 6 entries for Sean now.
Joining us right now is a new member of the ESPN family. He's also an
Nobody gives a shit.
Hold on. I'm having some glitches here, Rich.
Oh, that was great. That was perfect. Nobody gives a shit.
Still can't believe that happened. Can't make that one up. Oh, man. Sean, thank you very much. Here's who got a membership from Sean. Mr. Osamoski, Lucky YAJ, F, Midnight Mike, Tim Big Riggins, and Chad M. Nicholas, all receiving a gifted membership from Sean Bennett. How about that? And Sean, since you're on a roll, let's give people what they want.
I'm just like moving and grooving.
Get your football.
Oh, man,
let's
Jake.
work on ball security. We cannot have any fumbles.
Ball security, Jake.
Yep. Secure your balls.
This is the ball.
If you hold it like that, it's going to get knocked out. Protect it.
Like this.
High and tight. Yep.
So this is my football right here going in the toilet.
What? No. Ball ball security, man. High and tight. That's why we keep losing. The whole point of this exercise is to manifest change. We're trying to get a win.
Scatterboo time.
Giants it's not scatterboo time. You just put the ball in the toilet. Flush your toilet. Let's go.
Is it going? It's not. Is it going down? Oh, damn it! Smell that toilet water?
Oh, good God, man. I'll tell you what, if the Jets do win, Sean, you're calling in every week and you're putting the football right back in the toilet. They did force the turnover that game, right? It was right before they played in London. But unfortunately, they didn't win. Tough. Real tough. Oh, man. Are we ready for the Wheel of Champions, folks? Are we ready for someone to win a piece of Jet fan immortality? That's what I would describe it as. Ladies and gentlemen, we can't go to an Asmaniac raffle without first hearing from the master of raffle ceremony. Joining us right now is the master of raffle ceremony.
Sean Mooney coming into you live from the control center at her studios. Girls, bring us the wheel. We're going to get a winner today because that Curtis Martin helmet is on the line. Now, girls, count down with me as we win this, as we go for this at 3, 2, 1. Let it rip!
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Attaboy, Sean Mooney. Thank you, Beast. Job well done. Ladies and gentlemen, all the names across our shows today are on the wheel. Good luck to all. Thank you guys for making it possible to do sick giveaways like this in May. I do not lose sight of that. We got the most loyal audience that's here day in, day out. Ladies and gentlemen, here are the rules. If your name is called, you email me, asmanjake@gmail.com, your full name and address so I know where to order your signed Curtis Martin helmet too. Again, good luck to everyone. We will be back at it tomorrow. We got Sabo in the morning. I think the topic is going to be very interesting. It involves Aaron Glenn and his future, and something that Connor Rogers recently said that I thought was notable. So a little tease on some of the discussions for tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, good luck to all. Today's winner is Ralphie Rocks. Let's go. Let's go. The pride of Long Beach, Long Island. Ralphie Rocks, you're a winner of a signed Curtis Martin helmet. Let's go. Congrats to Ralphie. Well deserved. He's won a bunch of jerseys. Now, how about a helmet for the Ralphie Man Cave when he calls in? Outstanding. You guys are the best. Thanks for being here. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Sabo in the morning, working on a guest for the afternoon. Big things ahead. Get your tickets to Gangrene Beach Club. Get your flights and tickets for Nashville. We're in section 110. Tell all the Jet fans you know. That is right behind the Jets bench on the visitor side, of course. So I can't wait. We'll have info on Nashville, info on our Asmaniac home game for the Dolphins on October 25th. A lot to get into. You guys are the best. Thanks again for being here. Shout out to Joe Blewett for rocking the Speedo and coming on and giving us a great film breakdown of D'Angelo Pons. Again, enjoy your Monday. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Let's go Knicks as the conference final starts tomorrow. We'll have some more on that, I'm sure, during our shows. You guys are the greatest. JETS, 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 Jets. And since the big fella asked for it, who am I to not come through with what the big fella wants? Big fella, this is for you.
Down in Tampa where the sun beats down, Jake Asman's a king wearing his birthday crown. Fireman Ed's got the chant in his lungs. And Earl Christie's here where the legends are sung. We may not win, but we'll make it right. Green and white storm in the floor tonight. As maniacs unite, let's paint this town from the bay to the sky. We'll never back down. Rick and Dave steal the show. Hearts on fire, 4%ers bring the heat, lifting us higher. Tampa's turning green tonight as maniacs unite. Beer flows cold. Stories of battles both new and old. The Jets might stumble, but we'll stand tall. In this wild green army, we answer the call. The stadium's loud, the flags take flight. We're here to party, not just for the fight. As maniacs unite, let's paint this town from the bay to the sky. We'll never back down. Rick and Dave steal the show. Hearts on fire, 4%ers bring the heat, lifting us higher. Tampa's turning green tonight as maniacs unite. Town from the bay to the sky, we'll never back down. Rick and Dave steal the show. Hearts on fire, 4%ers bring the heat, lifting us higher. Tampa's turning green tonight as maniacs unite.
Hey everyone, I finally used Thunder Lips' air fryer, as you guys can see. As you can finally see. Son of a... As you guys can finally see. There you go. I finally used it. I'm going to finally taste one and see how I like it. Delicious. A+. Thank you, Thunder Lips. You're the man.
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go, Jets.